What is up, RotoGrinders? 2 hours nonstop MLB DFS conversation starts right now. Awesome nights for sports. Happy Friday. Happy Film Friday. Of course, you have Game 6 for the Panthers, Maple Leafs. Chop's excited about that. Of course, the WNBA makes their debut as well. We always talk about all the content you get here. If you sign up for premium, you get WNBA stuff as well. Football, baseball, basketball, hockey. Now I have to add WNBA to that as well. So everything with the exception of NASCAR. Check out the links in the description. Get yourself a week free of RG Premium. You can get yourself some WNBA stuff, everything else as well. If you're the first person to guess today's Film Friday, we'll be dropping that first clue momentarily. We do have a big boy slate tonight, Chop. And man, all week it's like, where are the good pitchers? Are there any good pitchers left? Monday, who am I rostering a pitcher today? It's all nonsense. They're all back on track. It's like opening day again, at least for half these pitchers. We are loaded with aces, and then two very, very clear, very obvious, team totals. We know how variant scoring can be as far as offenses. The best offense can get shut out. The worst ones can put up 10. That's how that goes sometimes. Arizona and the Dodgers both with a 6 total, above a 6 total. Nobody has a 5. So there's this huge gap, Chop. Nobody has, I guess LA and the Diamondbacks, their totals are above 5, but there's nobody that stops there. It's either above 6 or below 5. So it's pretty clear as far as tiers. By the way, the roof is open in Arizona. My very my conspiracy for Arizona, they just don't want to pay for air conditioning, continues on. I don't know how much it costs to run some AC in that joint for like 4, 5, 6 hours, whatever it is, but I imagine it's a pricey bill. So they just want to save a few dollars. Because they are in a desert. Chop, Friday, how are things? Doing all right?
Yeah. Well, hanging in there, Dean. Got some sick people in the house, so trying to nurse everybody throughout the weekend coming up and everything. But I've been to Arizona. It's really dry heat, so it's not that bad, man. It's not like Texas heat, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. It's a big slate here, big going. Before we even get cranked up, I want to. I did get a chance this week. I went to the movie theater, and I did get to see Thunderbolts. Oh. Yeah, I went with my son. He, after school, so he wanted to see Thunderbolts. We did that. It's a really good movie. Really good movie. Like,
TJ approves.
It's got that witty, comical thing that you can really makes you laugh at times, and then they just went straight into a story, and they didn't stop and play around with too much stuff, and that 2 hours flew by really quick, and it was really entertaining and set it up for the next wave of movies in this particular franchise. So thought it was good. And then tonight, Dean, it's movie night on Friday night.
Yeah, we leaving the house or watching something on stream?
No, streaming this. I might even be by myself on this one because I don't know, man. So many people sick tonight, man, in the house. I don't know, but there's a good one. There's a banger out. I've been waiting. I almost wanted to pull the trigger on this movie for paying for it a couple times. The $5.99.
What do we got?
Can I get?
You're gonna get it because what movies are out and stuff. But go ahead.
Novocaine.
Yes, I was gonna pull it. I've been wanting to pull
it Paramount too.
But now it's on Paramount, so that's the movie night. That's a banger. I'm ready. That's a nacho flick right there. Like some movies are like, okay, I can get by with my soda water and whatever. But you get the good stuff, you gotta whip out the nachos, man.
So nacho flick sounds to me like a popcorn movie. That's kind of what I'm. So like you wouldn't like a romantic comedy is not. What is not a nacho flick?
Nana's last week, Vince Vaughn.
Like a serious drama.
No, it's not even about the genre. It's just, it's a decent movie, but it's not like something I'm hyped up looking forward to. The Novocaine, I'm looking forward to. Like
guy from The Boys, right? Dennis Quaid's kid.
Is it?
I think so. Yeah.
I'm not sure, but it's the guy from The Boys. Yeah. So when you're amped up about it, when you've been waiting to watch it, that becomes a nacho flick.
All right. Yeah, I might check it out. It's on the list. I have other things on the list as well. But yeah, I did see it was streaming now, which wasn't that long ago. It was in the theaters and supposedly was pretty good. So I'm right there with you, Chop. We'll have to get it. We'll have to get a review. What do you got, TJ?
That's what my wife and I are watching tonight as well for movie night.
You guys can sync up and you can chat to each other while you're watching.
Start sending Chop some RotoGrinders Slack messages halfway through the movie. Oh, what'd you think of this?
What part you on? Let me catch up. All right. Do a watch a party. I think you can do it on Amazon. That's like an option. I never used it before, but I've seen it before. I think you can sync up with friends and like watch movies at the exact same time. I don't. All right. Bobby, by the way, is chirping in chat. He's chirping. He's saying you got terrible taste in movies. He's trashing TJ. He's trashing you.
Bobby's outing himself right now because he said we ranked Mario games that no one's ever heard of, and it was all of the most popular video games of all time.
Yeah, that sounds fair. All right, 12 gamer. Well, let's go ahead and drop that first clue. Get yourself a week free of RG Premium. I want the people to guess today's film. It is Film Friday. Again, your answers only official in the Discord, rotogrinders.com/Discord. The live stream chat channel. One guess per clue drop. No MMing. The first clue, it's scrolling right now, Chop, is Island. Island is the first clue. And I just realized now I've not told TJ the answer. So let me let him know just in case somebody happens to bank. I got my eye on the Discord channel as well, but the both of us will make sure if we spot a winner, we'll call it out. Chop, man, 12 games tonight. The pitching is so good. It's really hard to not. Well, I'm curious to get your strategy as far as pitchers, but yeah, all the good ones have been hanging out. They're available to pitch this evening. Chris Sale, Crochet pitching against each other. Chris Sale, it's a little. Is it a revenge game? Is it a first blood revenge game? I'm not sure. He's probably been back to Fenway. I would imagine so at some point. I did see the Green Monster like city jerseys for Boston. I'm not sure if they're wearing them tonight, but I saw a picture of them. They look amazing. They're really sharp. Check those out. Logan Webb, who's like, not going to get terribly owned, 15% or so. Great ballpark, taking on the Athletics. Cole Riggins, his strikeouts this year have been outrageous, especially against righties. It was like 45%. It is a bonkers number. It might even be higher than that. It is ludicrous. Yeah, I should mention the weather as well. I think we have a little bit of a positive hitting weather in Kansas City. I'll go ahead and drop Ross weather report, but yeah, a plethora of good pitchers tonight. I'm sure I've left some guys out. Mackenzie Gore. I didn't say Corbin Burns, kind of intentionally, and he's supposed to be allegedly the most popular pitcher on the board. Rockies, I get it, but I wanted to roster the good pitchers, and I'm not sure he's good anymore. You tell me. I'll tell you this, Chop. Castaway is not the answer, but it is a good guess. It is a valiant guess. How are you seeing this slate? Again, on paper, two clear offenses and just a bunch of really good pitchers. What is your screenshot?
Well, I've researched the pitchers and I've researched the stacks, and I can tell you that there's a lot of good pitching that I like, and the stacks are really spread out to me. Very even, like across all tiers, pretty much. So it's going to be a fun slate. Pitching wise, you said Chris Sale. He's actually had 2 games against Boston since and he's one total run allowed in both starts and 19 strikeouts. So he's pretty vengeful guy, man. So
John Wick level.
Yeah, he's in there. But just a lot of good pitching all over the board here, man. High price, mid price. I don't know if you need to go low range, but and then there's the hitting, the 2 big totals you're talking about. One of them I like, one of them I don't even mind fading them, even though it's a big over 6 team total. So a lot going on in this slate, man. Should be very interesting.
Yeah, looking forward to breaking this down. Of course, later on, we're going to go through our tiers and throw some teams in the tiers as far as ranking our favorite stacks. You got our guy Eric and Chad chirp, and Cole Reagan's the most overrated pitcher on the slate. Okay, I mean, do you not like strikeouts? That's how you accumulate fantasy points. And on the season this year, reverse splits, Cole Reagan's against righties this year, Chop. I think I was a little 43.5%. That's 124 hitters. That's just ridiculous. 43.5% as far as strikeouts. That's so good. We are getting 6. I think it's 6 righties for St. Louis. Kenneth is saying in chat, there's no time for nonsense, no time for playing, because we got 24 stacks to talk about. So we got to get to it. A lot of pitchers as well. How do we figure out who our favorites are, Chop? Because, Sale, Crochet, Webb, Reagans. I didn't mention Joe Ryan. He's good too. If you want to buy a Taj Bradley on the cheap against the Marlins, that's I guess the obvious spot to save money. He hasn't been great. He just hasn't. Velocity down a tick as well. Of course, this Marlins team in a cavernous ballpark, and they have a couple guys here and there, but overall, not an offense we're necessarily afraid of. Max Meyer's a good arm on the other side. He's been uneven, but he should be protected by this ballpark as well against Tampa. But again, I'm just having a hard time getting there. But if you want to play him, whatever, I'm not going to argue with you. How are you narrowing it down? For me, I know Dave read about this too, and he'll be on later, and we came to the same conclusions. Like, just I don't want to play Burns against this field when he's like the same price. If there was a discount, his Ks are less than 20% on the year. I know the ERA is good, whatever, but like again, regression monster, 2.95 ERA, 4.54 Sierra. I think that's the biggest difference. Sierra versus ERA. The walk rate, 11.4%. That's the biggest walk rate on the slate. 19.8% as far as Ks. That's just not good enough for me. It just isn't. When you're asking the same price for Reagans, for Gore, for Ryan, for Sale, for Webb, for Crochet, and it's just a matchup. It's the Rockies, and I get it. They're horrific, and that's why he's going to be popular. But I just want the elite pitchers as far as strikeouts, and I do not envision myself rostering any Corbin Burns tonight. If that's a big stand, that's my big stand. Your thoughts?
Well, I kind of tend to disagree with you there, Dean, just because it's, when you look at a slate and you see a team total of, as of an hour ago when I ran the last numbers on RotoGrinders, 2.6 team total against you, like that tells you a lot right there that this pitcher should be pretty good, even though, like you said, at some point he'll start giving up more runs than he has, but this might not be the one right here. And he has been really poor this year for the most part, but 2 of the last 3 starts he's gotten back on track and looked a lot better lately. You just get this matchup with Colorado on the road, and I still got to keep him in my player pool. Like I'm doing one lineup tonight, just running one lineup, so I got to narrow it down to 2 pitchers on DraftKings, and he's certainly in play as that SP1. And so, there's a lot of good candidates, like you said, but as far as price tag, Eovaldi is actually the one that's like way too high. I mean, not too high, because I could still play Eovaldi. We'll get into him in a minute. But like Ryan, Reagans, Burns, Sale are all in the same general vicinity price tag wise. So it's just about, to me, almost like throwing some darts up against the wall and seeing which name you land on, because I think all those guys are interchangeable.
All right. By ownership stuff, it's changed a little bit. I thought Burns was going to be the clear top guy, and he's not the clear top guy according to ownership stuff right now. As of 15 minutes ago or so, 27% for Burns on DK. That is the most popular as of right now. Sale 26, and again, it's pretty flat. Sale 26, Reagans 20, Webb 18, Ryan 14. Bradley is like the cheap SB2 if you need it, or Dustin May. I guess it could be Dustin May as well. They're both similarly priced around 7K. Crochet at 11%. That's certainly appealing for tournaments. Nobody's going to play Gore. Gore kind of reverse splitsy. By the way, we mentioned Reagan's being reverse splitsy. You mentioned Eovaldi as well, and he's kind of neutral. So like he doesn't really take full advantage of Houston being all right-handed. So, I mean, not saying you can't roster him, but I prefer somebody that's like dominant versus righties against Houston. Meyer at 9%. We have the Subway Series tonight. Does Juan Soto get booed? Did they boo Juan Soto? That'd be ridiculous if they did. They might, though, right? Are they going to boo Juan Soto tonight?
Yes, they will. Oh. And you know what, though, Dean? I forgot about that. This is a big night for New York sports, man. Subway Series and the Knicks can close it out against the Celtics. Big night, man. Big. And aren't the Rangers still alive in the NHL?
No.
Islanders still alive in the NHL? No. Okay, let's limit it to baseball and basketball then.
what's the New York WNBA franchise? The Liberty? Maybe they play it tonight. I'm not sure. Maybe they play
yeah,
tomorrow.
I think they do.
Yeah, so you have tickets to the Liberty. Are you going to the game tonight? Theoretically, if they're you have tickets to Yankee Stadium. You're a Knicks fan. Like, do you go to the Yankees Subway Series game? Obviously, 162, 160. Who cares? It's Soto, yada yada. It's the Subway Series, but you care about the Knicks more than anything else. If you're the same level of fan for all the sports, you care most about the Knicks. Not even close, right? Tonight.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'd have to think about it. Put myself in the shoes of if the Astros were playing the Rangers tonight and the Rockets had beat Golden State and they were still alive and it was a Game 6 against Minnesota.
You want to watch the Rockets?
Yeah, I don't want to watch the Rockets. Sure, I would say that. And like, I don't care what sports are on. You probably wouldn't catch me at a WNBA game. No offense to any of those gals.
Oh, come on, Chop.
No offense to any of those gals. I'm sure they're really good at what they do or whatever. But I don't want to go to that.
I saw the new franchise, the Golden State Valkyrie. Over 10,000 season tickets sold. So they're gonna be doing pretty well for themselves. The franchise ticket. I was listening to a podcast on this actually. I think it was like 50 million, and now went up to 150. They have Toronto coming in. They're probably going to get to 16 eventually, but I think 15 by like 2027 or so. If I can buy stock in this, I'd buy stock in it. It's on the up and up, Chop. You got to get on board. All right, let's focus on some more pitchers. I ran a bunch of names down. Do you think you're going to have salary issues? And if so, do you step down to Bradley? Do you step down to Dustin May? Is there secret option C as far as a cheapie? I don't really think there's another one that I would play that's in that range. You?
No, the two lowest priced guys tonight for me, you just said them, Dustin May, Taj Bradley. If you need that, I haven't built a lineup, but with 24 lineups out there, I don't foresee, salary being a big issue to jam two expensive pitchers in there. Like, there's plenty of options tonight. So I'm not worried about salary. I think I'd rather get two of those guys up top as my starting pitcher, especially in the smaller fields, But May and Bradley are the only guys that the cheapest guys I would go. Like, I'm not really. I guess maybe a Chad Patrick if you were very ambitious, somebody like that. Bowden Francis, I don't think he's particularly all that good, so I don't know if you want to go that route. Max Meyer has
a little bit more, but I think he's playable.
Max Meyer is up there, but he shows signs sometimes. But I don't know, man. Tempo's not a big tough matchup either. Like, I don't know. I think I'm sticking to what I'm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 guys I got up top. It's the 5 guys we mentioned: Eovaldi, Ryan, Reagans, Burns, Sale. Those are the 5 guys I'm sticking with. I've got my reasoning. Every time I went through, different things started to pop up. I took a look at the Boston finalized lineup against Chris Sale. 7 guys in there who are very capable of each striking out against him, if not one time, maybe a couple of them a couple of times. So big time strikeout lineup right there.
26.4% collectively.
Yep.
The 2 best hitters are left-handed too. With Duran.
Yeah, the top of the order, you're going to shut down. You're going to pretty much stifle the run production if you shut down the top of the order. Devers and Duran, which are the 2 lefties against Sale. That's tough. We talked about Burns and the matchup he's got. Cole Reagans, you talked about. Eovaldi, we didn't get into as much. You said he's not. The splits don't matter as much. At this point, I just want anybody that can throw strikes and has any kind of semblance of strikeout upside against this Astros lineup. And Eovaldi has that. By the way, Dean, last night, Rangers, Houston went at it. It was a great pitching duel, Jacob deGrom and Hunter Brown.
Yeah.
And I made the foolish mistake, Dean. Foolish. I was so stupid in hindsight. I missed out on a massive 7-team parlay. Massive.
You make 7-team parlays?
I had to go for the gusto, Dean. Today was payday, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So I had to go for the gusto.
This is through like your barber or something like that.
Yeah. And I had it, man. I had the world at the tip of my fingers. I hit 6 out of 7 legs, and the only leg I missed, for some reason, stupid enough, it's a pitcher's duel last night.
Yeah.
I took Texas on the run line as opposed to just the money line because I wanted that little bit extra juice, and they missed it. They didn't get there, man. And that my Venmo is suffering today, but you know what?
That's a bummer.
I think anybody with a pulse that can throw strikes against this lineup, I would take. So those are the big guns I'm after tonight.
You're not coming back soon, by the way. You got Alvarez. Apparently, he's taking BP, so soon he'll be back. Yeah, but McCullers is back, and then oh boy, it's cool. Good for him for fighting back. It's been a couple of years. Like we had at one time, he had one of the best curveballs in all of baseball. But I didn't watch that last start. But what did he go up 9-10 runs in the first inning?
The first start, he looked respectable. His first start back, they were obviously limiting him, and then he comes out against Cincy, and yeah, he just gets hit around, and he can't really throw strikes sometimes, and that was his downfall. So, but I'm not going to take that one start from the last start and think that that's going to carry over. I think maybe it's a process here. So I'm not as anxious to fully stack against him, but I still think, yeah, I'm certainly not playing Lance McCullers tonight.
Yeah. We do have some umpire data for what it's worth. And we always say when new series start out, sometimes this will change. But as things stand right now, we're expecting an extreme hitters umpire in 2 ballparks for the Mets and the Yankees extreme hitters. That would be McGill and Rodon, and also Mackenzie Gore versus Cade Povich, expecting an extreme hitters umpire. Do you have the second clue scrolling for Film Friday? It's at the bottom of the screen. C. To confirm the spelling. SEA. So Island and C. That is our first 2 guesses. No, not guesses. Those are clues. Let me know in the Discord channel what today's Film Friday is. You get yourself a week free of RG Premium. I did say I was going to drop the weather report in chat. I want to see if Roth had a chance to update it. Nothing terribly dicey. More so like earlier in the day with Pittsburgh, Philadelphia's yellow-orange. We don't care. It is straight yellow in Baltimore, yellow-green for the Yankees. Kansas City is green as well. Yeah, winds blowing out early, left to right, late. I think Weatherheads did like that game. We had a win game earlier today for the Cubs. I think it simmered down a little bit, but there was a bunch of homers. I think Vargas banged out a couple. They did hit the over. Last I saw it was like 10-3 or so. The battle is this rivalry weekend? It doesn't don't they do that in baseball? They that's what's happening, right? Okay, the Yankees are facing the Mets. The Cubs are facing the White Sox. Washington and Baltimore. Just realizing this now. Okay, St. Louis and KC. This all kind of checks out. For what it's worth, Weatherheads loves that Kansas City game. If there's any sort of reason, if you want to get away from Reagan's, this is a 46-game sample. Now, Roth did say the wind's going to change at some point, but 80 is the temp.
I don't mean to cut you off, Dean, but my stadium model isn't as high on it.
Oh, okay. Is this patent pending in your stadium model?
Of course it is.
Okay.
Trying to get it
How
out
long
to
have
the
you
people.
been working?
Working on it for years. Been working on it for years, but
you just want to perfect it before you unleash it.
Yeah. Here's what I could tell you. I think I don't know if you knew this, Dean.
Yeah.
But Kansas City has the second biggest outfield in all of baseball, behind Coors Field, which is the largest outfield, foul pole to foul pole, fence to infield, largest out. The problem with Kansas City is you don't get the elevation that comes along with it in Coors Field. And so while you can, it's pretty decent for hits because of that, just like Coors Field, you don't get the home runs as much. In fact, it's a terrible park for home runs. So while Roth's model for home runs looks great on the surface because we're comparing home runs in Kauffman Stadium, just in Kauffman Stadium. But Kauffman Stadium compared to the rest of the league is really bad anyway, so you got to take it with a grain of salt. So anyway, point being, this is my model says it's not quite as good as one would be led to believe. But that's fine. If you want to jump on it, that's cool too.
You also have to hit the ball, and no players aren't hitting. They're not hitting the ball if Reagan's, especially from the right side, a heck of a lot. I did pull this up on the fly, the StatCast data as far as ballpark factors. And to your point, Kansas City is a 102, meaning they're 2% better than the average on the whole as far as a ballpark. But specific to homers, This is 3 years rolling. It changes, obviously. It's an 83, which is, 17% worse than the average ballpark. I wonder if that's changed in the last year or two. I'm sure it has a little bit. Let's see what last year is. Smaller amount of data. Wow, it's the worst one in baseball at 57 this year. Wow, that's interesting. You know what number one is? They moved the fences in this year. There's their clue. And they're pitching sticks.
Number one for home runs?
Yeah, what ballparks give out the most homers, or the best ballpark according to StatCast data? They moved the fences in, and they did nothing to improve their pitchers outside of hiring a 40-year-old dude.
What was it, Baltimore?
Yeah, Baltimore.
Huh. That's interesting.
Yeah. Toronto's second, by the way. This is for this season specifically. Okay. Anything else as far as pitchers that we want to note? We are getting lineups in as well on the show. Let's see if they've got anything goofy, anything interesting, anything weird. Oh, they're putting Christian Campbell at first. They're saying he's doing first base drills. I didn't see that. Devers refusing to move over there, but I guess they might have to be forced to move the youngster, Campbell. Let's see. Yeah, Astros lineup to come out, and it's a bunch of righties with the exception of Caratini, the switch hitter. Still waiting on the Dodgers. Still waiting on Arizona. And those are San Diego, not just yet. The late stuff, we don't have those lineups. Anything else we want to say? Anything else we want to stress? Are there any pitchers we didn't really talk about or mention that we should focus on a little bit more? It's just a lot. There's a lot of good ones. Like backup catcher for San Diego, I guess it did come out, unless we just made a change as far as somebody made a call. But we have our backup catcher in there, projection-wise at least. All right, and Edwards was scratched for the Marlins. Several people in chat are asking about Kolek. I don't really have a big take about it. It just seems really unnecessary. He hasn't given up a barrel this year. 14% as far as the 14 innings he's thrown so far this season. He's been good, right? Like he hasn't given him a run, and good for him. But the swinging strikes at 6.9% is really unappealing. Seattle, much better offense outside of their home ballpark. I don't think it's necessary. Do you have a Kolek take?
Kolek, not really. I don't even think Kolek's in my player pool. Let me see what now Kolek's not in my pool, but Butthole was asking about Chad Patrick. I'm actually more and more as the day goes on, I'm more intrigued by Patrick. I think there's something there, and then plus, no Buxton, I guess they saying in the lineup.
Yep. Also Correa, both are out.
Oh yeah, yep. That's right. They left last night. He left last night.
Yeah.
So Patrick is more and more I'm coming around on, because that's super cheap if you want to go that route and load up on those two teams with 6 team totals. I can see that happening. So Patrick is in play now, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. I meant to point that out with Minnesota down 2 of their better players. Not the best iteration of a lineup there. Carson Palmquist is a professional baseball player who we throw in baseballs for the Rockies tonight. If you missed that, I thought it was originally supposed to be Herman Marquez, but that's in part why Arizona has a team total of almost 6.5. He is a lefty, so I'm curious what kind of iteration we get from the D-backs. Curious to see. We have no lineup there just yet. Marte also left yesterday's game too for precautionary reasons, but word is that he's expected to play. No Arizona lineup just yet, but I'm assuming Ketel Marte plays yesterday, and he left yesterday for precautionary reasons. Take their word for it. But we do want to confirm it. Also, they're a minus 440 favorite. Corbin Burns has no right being a minus 440 favorite versus anybody. I know it's the Rockies, but still. Okay. Anything else, or moving on?
I think we can move on, Dean.
Chop, you never put your guess in for clue number 2, but we are going to drop clue number 3 for the people.
I get 2 guesses because they roll over. They roll
over minutes, yes.
Like timeouts.
The third clue for Film Friday. Let's go ahead and fire off a guess in the Discord. It is representative. Island. C, representative. Those are our first 3 clues. Chop, we're going to be talking some stacks here in a second, but let's go ahead and give our tiers category. You suggested today's category, and I kind of stole it and kind of ran with it. So I apologize, but you gave me the green light, and you might retort if you want to, by all means. But we were today's category is DFS tools, not actual. We didn't put actual people. We actual DFS tools, things we find useful. And I just went ahead and did. I'm a company man, Chop. I put a lot of the stuff here that's the RG stuff for sure. But TJ is having a little bit of a hiccup there with his laptop. He says his laptop is freezing on us. We'll have that tiers board up momentarily. Hopefully he'll be juiced back up here in a few minutes. But
Dean, let me tell the people why we chose this guy, because it's topical. Because I opened up Twitter this week and I see like all these people complaining about best ball tools, and you can't do that. You can't do it. Kind of reminded me of the poker world when they got the technology in the poker. I forget what it was online.
It tells you what to do basically.
Yeah. So all these guys in best ball crying about these tools shouldn't be allowed. It also reminds me of the old days in DFS when optimizers weren't a thing, and then they became a thing, and all this as the time goes on, you can't stop the progress, people. You can't put the genie back in the bottle, can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. Just got to roll with it. So if you
don't make it, somebody else is going to make it.
Yeah. In honor of that, we're just gonna put the best. Well, I'm gonna retort, I think, because I think I know what your board looks like, but Dean's gonna list his favorite DFS tools that he best to worst.
Yeah, obviously 1 is the best, 5 is not my favorite tool. To be fair, I'm just bitter. I've not been granted access to the tool in the 5 spot. We'll talk about it here in a second, but I gotta be a company man, Chop, and this isn't just me being a company man for real. I use Plate IQ all the time. I love it, and it's simplified. If you don't even want to dig into the numbers, if you don't know what's a good ISO, what's a bad ISO, green is good, and if it's really green, it's really good. If red is bad, if it's really red, it's really bad. It's super simple. And just looking at it from that perspective, you don't have to know what a good ISO is or what a good WOBA is. Not even necessary. Just understand. If you're colorblind, then also you got to know numbers, I suppose. You can play them big. So Plate IQ is in the 1 hole. Kevin Roth, we always mention the Weather Edge tool. Shout out to Kevin Roth. Weather Edge is in the 2 hole. The third one is, I just wanted to show a little of the lineup HQ. If I'm not on Plate IQ, I'm on lineup HQ. Again, just coincidentally enough, Chop, it is also a RotoGrinders tool. I use these for real though. This is what I'm on throughout the day when I'm making my lineups and things of that sort. But the fourth spot we have, Chop. No offense here. Don't think. Feel free to defend it. The BEP model. It's every once in a while it comes through. Every once in a while it kind of makes sense. But you claim it's got all this different algorithmic reasons and everything's sort of baked in. I don't fully. Again, I don't want to call you out on it. I just don't fully believe that you have that technology. I think it's just you pulling up a page and saying, "Oh, okay, that guy." I think that's how it works. So I have Chop's BBP model in the 4th spot. And lastly, again, I don't know if this exists. Maybe I'm just bitter again. I've not been granted access to it. Is Kirkwood's dew point model, which I've not heard anybody give an endorsement of outside of Kirkwood. So I've heard it talked about for 7, 8, 9 years. It's been the longest. Nothing has been in beta longer, maybe Top Shots, than Kirkwood's dew point model. TJ, are we working on getting that on the board? We still figuring it out? Is your computer getting overworked? What's the story?
I have bad news.
Uh-oh.
Tier maker list has changed to a subscription-based product.
What? What is that?
You can't use this. You can't use it anymore unless you pay $9.99 a month. And I'm not using my credit card for that. But we can talk to.
It's a write-off. How many Loonies and Toonies is that, TJ?
Yeah, you do. You send me yours, and I'll get it done right now, and I'll sign up for a subscription.
You want me to host the show and sign up for it on the fly?
I will do some Googling and see if I can find a different site while we're going.
I think there is one. I feel like there's more than one.
But in the meantime, I won't be able to use that one, so I'll do some Googling.
All right. Otherwise, we'll just have to memorize the board. I'm not really sure. TJ, I sent you a message. I'm not sure if that's the actual one or if that's an alternative one, but hopefully we can figure this out on the fly. We'll figure it out on future shows as well. Out of nowhere, they must have realized how popular the tiers are. And they want our $10 now.
Or
yeah.
somebody behind the scenes at Tier Maker heard you were bashing Kirky's model and bashing him last week, and they had enough. They had enough of it.
That's unlikely. That's an unlikely scenario. I guess it's possible, but I think it's unlikely. But Chop, did you have any umbrage? Take any issues with our board?
Well, obviously, I don't agree with it. I mean, clearly, there's certainly the BVP model. I'm not saying that is the be-all, end-all. Would never say BVP, but it is an algorithm.
Just a suggestion.
Yes, it is an algorithm, and it does spit out. And then, it's up to me to narrow it down to which one we want to play. And I think there's a good success rate there. And as far as the dew point model, it's pretty clear weather is an effective measure of taking advantage of some spots in baseball that maybe you wouldn't have beforehand. And so certainly not going to, I mean, the dew point model is on point. So I'm not there now, Dean. If I was going to, by the way, it looks like we got a tier board, but I'll just spit this one.
TJ.
If I was kind of behind the scenes, I was telling you in the first or second spot, I think one of the best tools you can have in DFS is the mute button. I don't need to see everybody's screenshots from all their winnings, man. That just drives me
crazy. Not a DFS tool, though. I didn't understand.
It is a tool. It is a tool. It is a tool, and it's used in DFS.
It's a Twitter tool.
Exactly. It's a tool, though. The tool doesn't have to be. Oh, you meant just RG tools?
No. I just don't think it's a tool. It's not something.
I think the mute button is a tool, and I use it effectively.
If you say like the X button, like I don't want to see Corbin Burns' name in my player pool. That's enough. Okay, yeah, if you want to call that a tool, sure. But I don't think that's a tool, what you're suggesting. It's just that's just
agree to disagree. Agree to disagree.
It has nothing to do with the DFS.
Tools. What tools do I use? The Lineup HQ is obviously an awesome tool.
That's one for me as well, Lineup HQ.
I think I'm getting more and more into, just because of the laziness aspect of it, the Sims. The Sims are pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just don't want to build lineups. You don't want to look at anything, and it's got your back. So I think that's pretty cool. But have I actually won any money off of it? Not so much, but I haven't really dug into using it the proper way. I don't know, Dean. There's all kinds of stuff out there.
Jay Swift's telling me, how dare you disrespect the musings, the $1 million musings? That should be on the list. Well, that's not a tool.
Okay, no.
You could say you use it as a way to make lineups, but it's not technically.
I would say this it's a gray area, Dean, but I would say information in general is a tool in DFS, and I would, and to be honest with you, that's probably the best tool that I've ever had. Like, the most success I've ever had with DFS has probably come from the information. Information is like everything. So I used to really dig into the articles, all of them, everything around the industry, look at them. And that's when you have success. When you put in the hours, you put in the work, you can get the results. And that was part of it, was reading all that stuff. I don't do that much anymore. And maybe that's why I don't have as much success anymore. But I think the information.
You want $2 million, you get lazy, Chop. You'll be nice to take precedence.
That's not a lie, Dean. There's no lies detected right there. But like, I think information is a tool, and all those good articles, like reading the right articles, definitely can put you ahead of the field. So I would say that $1 million musings, or any of those good things you want to read like that for any sport.
Dropping the fourth clue now, a tool, if you will, into figuring out what today's Film Friday is the fourth clue. The fourth clue is head. Island, sea, representative, and head. That is our first four clues. Let me know in the Discord what film I am talking about. Let's throw some teams and some tiers. The first game we're going to talk about, the Nats, Orioles, 9 total. Pretty good weather here, it looks like. In the 80s? We haven't seen a lot of games in the 80s in a while. Mackenzie Gore against Cade Povich. This Baltimore team has been rough, disappointing, whatever adjective you want to use. They also bumped down Jackson Holiday left on left. I guess they don't know about Mackenzie Gore being reverse splitsy. Is there not an analytics team on Baltimore? They buried their lefties, and Gore is better versus righties. But okay. They did lead off with Gunnar Henderson. Where do we have the Nats and Baltimore?
Well, I would think they know about analytics. Their GM's like some former rocket scientist, man. So
That's confusing, though, right?
Yeah, I guess. So,
you can't just say everybody's the same against the some lefties are different. Yeah.
And not to mention, what are you going to do in the playoffs? Are you going to bat your best players, down 7-8 in the playoffs?
Playoffs. They're like 15 games out of first or something.
Well,
like
they were supposed to have a future in the playoff, but just generally speaking. But I take it my guesses in chat aren't correct, right, Dean?
It is not The Truman Show, an incredible movie, or Life of Pi. It is neither of those two movies. But I see what you're doing there. I see what you're doing. Okay, well, fair enough. Baltimore, Washington. I like this game actually for offense quite a bit. This is a game. A lot of it for some of the reasons you mentioned earlier about Baltimore's ballpark. I like it. It pops up good in my model. So Baltimore for me against Mackenzie Gore. I don't like some of the lefty on lefty action that we're going to get here. Even though he has reverse splits, so are those dudes that are batting left-handed for Baltimore. They kind of stink against left-handers, but I'm going to put them in tier 2. I do like a lot of aspects of it. Mackenzie Gore is a little bit better pitcher than K. Povich on the other end there. Actually, quite a bit better. That's why Washington for me is going in tier 1. I like Washington. I like this ballpark for him. I like the setup for him. You got K. Povich, who is not particularly good, not going to strike out a lot of guys. Oh, and he's going to walk some guys too. He's got a pretty high K, around 9% in his last 100+ innings. And he gives up home runs. He's just not all that effective. And so, you know what, Dean? What's crazy? All this great young talent for Baltimore, and they were like the next greatest thing. They were going to be that, like all this stuff, and they had all this trade pieces. And, they actually ended up trading 2 of their best players. Trevor Rogers?
No.
Well, they traded to get Trevor Rogers.
Yes, two of their best players, 2 of their better hitters who could actually be in their starting lineup today, traded them to your Miami team. And what did they get in return?
Trevor Rogers.
A guy they DFA'd that didn't even make the playoff roster that year. Right? I think he's DFA'd. He should have been. I think
he's in the minors right now, which I don't know what his numbers are, but he's pitching bad enough that he can't.
The year they got him, they couldn't even. He was so bad they couldn't even put him on the playoff. And that was their 2 good hitters. Man, they had a chance. They could have had Flaherty or all kinds of. Man, they might have blown a chance. It's ironic like that. But I got Washington in tier 1. Povich is awful, and it's a good ballpark, good hitting environment for him. So Washington tier 1.
All right, Battle New York Mets, Yankees 9 total. McGill versus Rodon. Everybody in the crowd's going to be watching their cell phones. While keeping an eye on the Knicks. Just put them on the big screen. Make the people happy. But put the basketball game on in the background.
Probably do. I think they do.
They should. Why not?
They do.
Well, how do you see this team shaking up when it comes to the stack upside for both teams?
It's a tough one. It's a tough one for me. I got them both in tier 3. Right there, dead in the middle, because I am torn on them. I think both these lineups are good, but I also think both these pitchers have some upside too. They're pretty decent pitchers, pretty good pitchers actually. The thing about Rodon in this matchup is when you go to Plate IQ and you look at the Mets lineup against left-handers, my God, it's a sea of dark green. And if you don't know the color coding, the darker the green, the better for the hitter. And they overwhelm you with.
They pummel them.
Yeah, at least 1 through 7 is really good. He's kind of fall off at 8, and then 9 is not so great, but otherwise, he's going to have a hard time. So I don't want to roster Rodon, but he's good enough that I don't necessarily want to take the Mets either. And the Yankees are kind of similar. McGill's not terrible. He strikes guys out. He will walk a few guys, and he's pretty good about not allowing too much on the home run side of it. And it's not a great ballpark for hitting here. So Yankees are in 3 too. They've got a good lineup, but these are 2 solid pitchers.
Detroit, Toronto, Bowden Francis versus Jack Flaherty. 8.5 total. Basically a coin toss here amongst these 2. I think the lefty power bats in this game, just in general. Riley Green, Kerry Carpenter, Dalton Varsho. That's the first place I would look as far as the hitters that jump out for me. What say you?
Let's see here. What do we have? Detroit, Toronto?
Yes, sir.
Pull them up here. Detroit, Toronto. You're going fast, man. I'm trying to guess, and You're pulling up.
It's a 12-game slate, Chop. We got to get to it.
What time is it?
About
We got
25
time.
minutes or so. We have time, but yeah.
All right, Toronto against Flaherty. Again, good pitcher. It's a decent lineup, but good pitcher. I don't want to. Not tonight. 4. Toronto's going in tier 4 for me. Detroit, I actually do like them a little bit against this pitcher. So I'm putting those guys in tier 2. I think this is a big fly ball guy. As a result, he will give up some home runs, Bowden Francis, and I think Detroit has shown a better offense this year than they did last year. And I like a couple of pieces in this lineup specifically.
Shout out to J3 for the kind words there in chat. Nobody paces a show better than me. Nobody's ever said it before, but thank you. I'll just point out.
You say that all the time whenever you're not here. That is true. We make fun of you for a lot of different stupid things like your clues, bad, terrible clues. But my God, do you know how to pace a show?
Well,
some would say you're the Tyrese Halliburton of talk show hosts.
I don't know what that means, but Halliburton's pretty good at what he does, so I assume that's a compliment.
Great pace for the Indiana Pacers, man.
And I was traded for somebody, and whoever the other person was a terrible pick, despite what people think.
You were
who's the Domantas Sabonis of
you were traded for a crazy Gaby. Very few in the chat will get that, but if you did,
let us know in chat if you get that.
If you know, yes. You know, and you're laughing. Inside.
This is actually so perfect in chat right now. Back to back. From Bobby, awful clues from Marie Donyeezy, Dean Goat of hosting. From FU, terrible clues. From Peter Biles, Dean should get a raise. One after the other. That was perfect.
Well, if FU says I'm terrible at getting clues, I mean, that is the authority, the voice of reason for sure. Thank you. I appreciate the variety of comments. I did want to point out in this game, I think this is the sneaky one. If we're going to have a sneaky game on a 12-gamer, and like everything's, sneaky depending on outside of Arizona and the Dodgers, right? So homers per 9 on the season, and this stuff can change. It can get fluky, right? Bowden Francis, 2.59 homers per 9, the most in the slate. It is a 20.7% homer fly ball rate, but he's kind of serving them up, and I talk about those lefties, and they still just always too cheap. Carpenter and Green just a little bit too cheap compared to everybody else. Sort of like the Angels, but like they're better. We talk about Soler and Ward always being a little bit too cheap. Carpenter and Green always seem to be a little bit too cheap. And then Jack Flaherty on the other side, yeah, good Ks, but both these pitchers are fly ball pitchers. I talked about the StatCast stuff, Chop. Toronto this season, second best ballpark for homers, 153. So they tinkered with the fences last year, I believe. And again, these are two of the top 3 as far as homers per 9. Flaherty at 1.98 as well. I'm not the game stack person, but this seems like a fun little game stack. I think this is the sneaky game. I feel like it is. You tell me otherwise. We'll find out soon enough. Okay. Atlanta, Boston. I'm not rostering anybody here offensively, I don't think. Garrett Crochet, Chris Sale. We might get a 2-1 game. It is Fenway. 2 elite pitchers. I'm not playing these offenses. What are you doing with them?
So I won't play these offenses, but for the purpose of ranking them in tiers, I do have Atlanta. I do have Boston in tier 3, just because, Chris Sale hasn't exactly been dominant this year for the most part, even though he's shown signs lately of snapping out of it. You just never know. I do think the Boston offenses can be pretty decent, so I'll put them in tier 3. But I like you said, I'm not rostering them. As far as Atlanta against Crochet, that's a tier 4 for me. You just never know in a ballpark like this. Something could happen, but I'm not really interested in either one of these squads.
All right. So TJ, throw Atlanta in the 4th tier in Chop's BBP model. Let's go ahead and drop that 5th clue. We don't have a winner just yet. The clues are so terrible. We're going to get
my
to the
last guest didn't get it. Come on, Dean.
It is not Black Panther or The Wolf of Wall Street or Big Lebowski or Lord of the Flies or The Lighthouse. I've never seen The Lighthouse. I hear that's a wild movie. And have you seen The Gifts? I've managed to avoid the spoiler on that, but I hear that's kind of a wild one. But this may change things, Chop. This might all of a sudden, business might pick up. The 5th clue. First 4, Island, Sea, Representative, Head. The last clue, Chop. We have more if necessary. Goldfish. Goldfish is the last clue. All right. Fire away in the Discord. Get yourself a week free of RG Premium. Moving along. Next game up is Tampa, the Rays and the Marlins. Big rivals. Bradley versus Max Meyer, both on the FanDuel Sports Network. So I'm in Florida. I can't watch either game.
Did I get
it? They want me to pay like $40 more a month. And I'm like, I don't know. Just for these two teams, I got everything else. Do I need to watch the Marlins and the Rays? I cut the cord. That's why. Anyways, people don't seem to care about such things. But yeah, I miss out on watching the Marlins. I think I'm going to be all right. There's plenty of other games. And if you watch them on they have their version of Red Zone, you're going to catch them anyway. I don't know if you've seen that on MLB Network. But that channel is awesome, by the way. It's pretty good. They change it up. They cut it in four different games. It's worth checking out if you like your baseball. Bradley versus Max Meyer, two pretty good pitchers. Good ballpark to throw baseballs in. 8.5 total. Do we like either offense? Yandy Diaz is back, by the way. He was not playing in the last series. He had some, was it visa issues? I'm not sure what it was. They wouldn't let him in Canada for whatever reason. You tell me. Rays, Marlins, what do you got?
Let me pull it up real quick here. Right. Oh, yeah. Okay. So Miami's a tier 5 team for me. I kind of, I would definitely roster Taj Bradley over taking any Miami stacks tonight. Miami's a tier 5. Tampa's going to be the interesting one. I don't know how much I'll have, but you mentioned Yandy Diaz. I actually kind of like him tonight, and I actually kind of like some of these Tampa hitters tonight. So I'm putting them in tier 2. I know Max Meyer has some potential. He's got some pretty decent numbers there. XFIP, Sierra, all that stuff is under 4, which is pretty good. But I think they can get to him in the right scenario. So I'm putting Tampa Bay in tier 2.
All right. Tampa in 2. So TJ got to bump up those Rays. And you had the Marlins in 5. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Marlins are not moving. They're in their permanent spots. Cardinals, Royals, Cole Reagans, Andre Palante. We talked about the wind blowing out early, not so much later. Talk about Reagans and striking out the world, especially righties. Palante's hard to pick on, Chop. I'm curious to get your thoughts because I want to roster some of these Royals, the good ones. There's only a few, but Palante just gets so many ground balls. That's why I guess you want the fly ball guys. His ground balls are biggest on the slate. Just does not give up a lot of fly balls. But 1.45 homers per 9, but his homer to fly ball, Chop, is 29%. So again, that tells you not a lot of fly balls, but when they get him in the air against them, pretty good. At least so far, small sample, yada yada. Pretty good chance of it getting out. Royals, Cardinals. What say you?
So I'm going Royals, St. Louis, Kansas City. St. Louis against Cole Reagans is a tier 5 team for me. Don't want anything to do with that tonight. Kansas City against Palante. Because of everything we've said on the show and, the weakish nature of the lineup and Palante's ground balls, I'm going tier 3 for Kansas City. It is, for Kauffman Stadium, it is a solid hitting environment for the stadium. And, I don't know. I'm just putting them in tier 3. I'm really neutral on them. I don't want to write them off completely, but I don't think I'll have a whole lot of stacks of those guys.
We did just get Arizona's lineup, by the way. There is a Ketel Marte. He's in there, but there's no Jordan Lawler, which is weird. I don't know why he's not playing. Perdomo's in there in the 9 hole. Marte, Carroll, Gurriel, Suarez, Naylor, Grichuk, Moreno, Tawa, and Perdomo is batting 9th. Taking a peek here. Do we get no winners just yet? It's not the Water Boy or a Fish Called Wanda or the Shape of Water.
I added a 6th clue.
Well, wait a second. You took liberties? What did you?
I took liberties.
Oh, is it Mission Impossible? Is that the name of the movie?
Impossible is the 6th clue.
Yeah, you're poking fun. I think that's not actually useful for this movie. To be fair, TJ's is having fun. But here, I'll give the people a 6th clue. I'll spoon feed it to you. I got one more that would definitely spoon feed it.
How is my clue not valuable for it?
Well, because I think you're just saying that this is impossible. I think you're making a little social commentary on my clues. I think
I'm giving you a clue. I'm giving the people a clue since that you got 5 and they didn't get it.
I have a 6. Well, you can use impossible if you want, and use it at your own discretion to see what you get with that. But I'll say Cardinals. That is a 6th clue. We have a 7th one if necessary. All right, let's scoot along. talk about Chop's Astros, the Rangers. Lance McCullers just fully pummeled last time out.
It has been guessed, and it got dropped in the YouTube chat immediately after I gave clue 6 of impossible.
Well, tell me how impossible. I know you're just playing the game.
Tell you how impossible helps? Who is the lead actor in your movie, Dean?
Oh, well, okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess if that's what I thought you were saying it's impossible. I guess, look, who am I to say that the clue is not direct enough, right? But fair enough. Yeah. Was it actually guessed? Yes, it was guessed in the Discord channel. It is not Mission Impossible, but yes, the lead actor in the Mission Impossible series is starring in this movie. There's a new Mission Impossible coming out. Chop, you excited about that? You care about that? Is that something that you're into?
Yeah, for sure. Listen, those movies are really good. And the last one was really long, and I still sit through them and I still watch them. And I thought the last one was really interesting, and I'm looking forward to seeing it. I think this next one's going to wrap up the franchise, and I'm looking forward to it. They are
That's
good.
what they're saying, but if he keeps making money, Chris is also 62. Like, how did he
does his own stunts, and
Insane.
I don't know how long he can do that.
Yeah,
so
it's impressive.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've seen some of the behind the scenes stuff. It's impressive that what he's willing to dedicate to. He's well compensated, but like he's really, really good at it. He's excellent at it. We'll run down the film Friday soon enough as people catch up as far as what the winner is. Chop, Astros, Texas Rangers. What do you got for me?
Rangers. Okay, start off with the Houston side of it. That's a tier 5. It's just not a particularly good lineup. You have all these pitching the ball pretty good. Don't want anything to do with Houston. Texas against McCullers can certainly, I mean, yeah, he can be bad. We don't know. I don't think we know what we're going to get out of him. You may get 3 or 4 decent innings and then a fairly strong bullpen, but I'm still putting Texas in tier 2 just in case he's bad Lance again and he gets run out of there by the second inning. You'll want to have some exposure in GPPs.
All right, Minnesota, Milwaukee. We talked about that Minnesota lineup being pretty rough today. The absence of Buxton, the absence of Correa. They're taking on the Brewers. I do not see a Milwaukee lineup just yet. Joe Ryan, one of those good arms that, like on a different slate, we would pay more attention to. He's going to get some ownership, but I don't necessarily want to attack Joe Ryan either. Again, no lineup just yet for Milwaukee unless it's just come out. I don't think it has. Twins, Brewers, 7.5 total. That is it's a baby total today. That Minnesota lineup is lacking some punch, some oomph. Where do you have the Twins and the Brewers?
Yeah, pretty easy here. Tier 4 for both of these teams. I'm especially as the day going on. Like I said, Chad Patrick, I'm warming up to the idea of playing him, so I really don't want to stack against him now with a weekend lineup. And Joe Ryan is pretty good in Milwaukee. Doesn't exactly come with this thunderous lineup that you can't do anything with. And so I'm gonna put both these teams in tier 4. I have really no interest in either one of them.
We have TastefulTides, Tim, coming in about 10 minutes or so, as well as TJ is going to spin even more plates. He's going to be hosting Crunch Time, Day Pots, CheeseIsGood. The author of the fabulous, one of the greatest tools we have here on RotoGrinders. Obviously, it's a tool. The $1 Million Musings. He's coming on in about 10 minutes or so, taking you guys all the way up to lock. Some more games to discuss. Well, it is the Rockies.
I get the Twins and the Brewers in the right spot? I missed that when I was in the Discord chat.
Chopper. 4 on both of them. Tier 4 on both of those guys.
Rockies, D-backs. Again, Arizona is a minus 440 favorite. It's just a number you don't see in baseball very often. But the Rockies are horrendous. They're even worse on the road. Roof is open for this one. Carson Palmquist is a left-hander throwing baseballs tonight for the Rockies. According to Fangraphs, he's the 6th best prospect in the organization. Not like somebody he's on like on a top 100 list or anything like that. Taking on this Arizona team, 6.5 total. Marte, Carroll, Gurriel, Suarez, Naylor, Grichuk, Moreno, Tawa, Perdomo. And Corbin Burns, he's been good this year from an ERA perspective, but everything else is pointing to, soon, but maybe not tonight because it's the Rockies. Soon we're going to get a little bit of a regression. Ks are not what you want them to be, but again, Colorado stinks. Where do you have Colorado and Arizona on the board, Chop?
Is the movie the lawyer movie with Cruz, the Few Good Men?
That's a great movie. Yeah.
That's not it though.
No, it's not.
All right. Yeah, I'm lost today. I don't have it then. I'm out on today, man. Can't get it today.
It I'll let you know. We'll get you. Yeah.
All right. We're on Arizona, Colorado.
Yeah. I mean,
these guys are on they're polar. They're on the polar opposite end of the spectrum here. We got Arizona in tier 1. I'm really gonna like. Palmquist is a young dude who is 6.4 team total against him. I'm sure he's probably pretty decent for the Cardinal or for the Colorado organization as far as their minor leagues, but I'm not sure he's really all that good in general. So I'm ready to stack against him. And Colorado's tier 5, bad lineup. Even if Corbin Burns isn't striking guys out, he's kind of limiting run production enough to where I just don't see any chance at a Colorado stack breaking the slate here in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at too. I think they got to go in the 5th tier. Like even if they get to Burns enough, it's hard to see them being the top team on this slate. But and we have Arizona in the 1 hole chop. We shall move on. Let's see, 10 minutes or so until we got crunch time coming in. Is TJ dropping Spidey bombs? He is. I feel like I saw one earlier. Every 50 likes. I think it was actually Riley Green was the Spidey bomb. I'm not sure if there's more coming. Every 50 likes, another one will be jumping in and joining the conversation. I don't know how close we are to 100, but I'm sure TJ and Spidey, there's a couple left in the arsenal. Yeah, Riley Green is sitting there as Spidey bomb number 1. Okay, 3 more games to go. Seattle, San Diego, Stephen Kolek, Logan Evans. If I told you these 2 pitchers are throwing baseballs against each other a month ago, you'd be like, who versus who? Some injuries here for Seattle. That's why Logan Evans has joined the rotation. One of their bigger pitching prospects, but their biggest prospects are hitters for what it's worth. San Diego, for me, Chop, is actually my favorite pivot stack. My first place to go outside of LA and Arizona is San Diego, specific to third base. Like the best third basemen are all in tough matchups tonight. Devers, Riley, J-Ram not on the slate.
Yeah.
I love Machado as a spend up. And San Diego is better now with the addition of Cronenworth, the addition of Jackson Merrill. So, and then Logan Evans, just nothing special as far as I can tell. Curious where you have the Mariners and San Diego.
Funny you should say all that, Dean. First of all, Seattle, not particularly interested in them, so I'm putting them in tier 4. But San Diego, I do have in tier 1. I did like this matchup with against this particular pitcher and all the things he's bringing to the table. And then when you get him out of the game, the Seattle bullpen has not been the same this year as it has been in years past, where they just had some lights out arms, and it's just not like that this year. So I think you can get to them in the later innings too. So I'm putting, and like you said, I really like this lineup when they're healthy, and they seem to be relatively healthy. So tier 1, San Diego.
Weather Edge also liked it too. At least it did earlier. Giving it a refresh, I want to see if anything changed. Let's see. Did it? Oh, it did change. It did change. Earlier, it was a positive. Weather is fluid. And now it's an 11% hit as far as homers and a 7% hit as far as runs. 60 the temp. Wind is blowing out about 5 miles per hour toward right field. By the way, we talked about Kansas City. 50% boost in 46 games. 80 temp, 16 miles per hour toward right center. Now, Roth did say that wind will change at some point in the game. But just of note for Kansas City. All right, 2 more games. Battle of Los Angeles. Another fully lopsided game. The Dodgers only minus 310, but still a pretty big minus. Kohanowitz taking on Dustin May. Dodgers, Angels. What do you got?
Yeah, 24 teams, Dean. When I see team totals of like down under 3.5 run, like 3.3, like this on the Angels, I'm not going to stack it. I don't need to. There's no reason to, especially not on this big of a slate. So LA Angels, tier 5. There's just no interest in them, especially that lineup they put out tonight doesn't look appealing at all. The Dodgers, that's a tier 2. I know, a lot of people are going to have them in tier 1. That's going to be it's going to be a very popular stack. In fact, let me see, second most popular I see on the board tonight. So They're going to be a popular stack. That's kind of part of the reason why I would drop them to tier 2 as opposed to tier 1. It's a massive team total. Everything looks good on the surface, but when you're that high owned, I'm gonna drop you down. I'm gonna drop you down a notch unless I truly, really believe in you, and I believe in certain pieces of this lineup tonight, but not as a stack in general. I think I could just one off a couple of these guys in different lineups if I want to, and find the success.
Ohtani went double dong last night on his bobblehead nights. He's still good on non-bobblehead nights too. But they put up like 13 runs. They just annihilated the Athletics. Beto just got absolutely shellacked.
Shout out to just as on the topic of home runs. Shout out to Grant with his turd bombs yesterday. I'm pretty sure he went 5 for 6.
What? Really?
I know I was using them, and I made a lot of money last night on my straight bets and parlays. So shout out to Grant because turd bombs hit hard last night.
You know, one guy's out there like, why not 6 for 6? What happened the 6th time? But 5 or 6 is really good. That's really impressive.
Somebody's out there going, yeah, but you're still only 42 and 57 on the year. So which
would be amazing.
15 of them haven't hit. Yeah.
I think the last one was Langoliers too, and he had like a hard hit double that almost went out, if I'm not mistaken. It might. I could be wrong on that.
Yeah, I know he's been on fire to start the season. The entire Scores and Odds team has been doing really good. You can actually get access to such things in the Discord channel, not the Discord channel. Get it in the description here on YouTube. 50% off the first month if you're in those parlay streets, if you're in just player prop stuff, underdog, prize picks, whatever works, whatever particular state you happen to be in, just player props in your book. If you got parlays you're running with the barber, whatever will make you work there, depending on what state you happen to be in. When we mentioned we gave away a week free of RG Premium, you can just go ahead and pay it. You can go ahead and pay it. The same price for baseball is the same price for baseball, football, basketball, hockey, MMA, PGA, WNBA, LOL. I probably missed something. Everything but NASCAR. All the bells, all the whistles, all the tools, every tool. You get the articles, you get the optimizer, Plate IQ, Lineup HQ. Just commit to 6 months. You get a nice big fat discount. Again, the link is in the description for that. Before we knock out the last game, of course, Chop, you have the knockers. You got the BBP suggestion of the day. Let's go ahead and reveal how we got to our Film Friday. Shout out to D-Rock who took it down. Clue number 1 was meant to be a swerve because it's clue number 1, and it worked out perfectly. It's a perfect swerve because 1 and 2 are both equally confusing, but they make sense. Clue number 1 is Island, Chop, and co-starring in this movie is somebody named Cuba Gooding Jr. And what is Cuba? Cuba is an island. That is the co-star of this movie. C, S-E-A, TJ. No, TJ. No. Do not shake your head at me. That is a good clue. Do not shake your head at me. That is a good clue. Sometimes you're right, but you're wrong in this instance. I stand by it. Cuba's an island. It's perfect. And then Cuba Island, C, Tom Cruise. How do you get out to sea, Chop? How do you get to sea? You take a cruise. Representative, Tom, Jerry Maguire, of course, was an agent. That's what an agent is, a representative. The human head weighs 8 pounds. That is one of the famous quotes there from Jerry Maguire. I was going to go with something money related, show me the money, but we went with head. And then the last one is Goldfish, famously when he left the office. Who's coming with me? The Goldfish and Renee Zellweger. So yeah, there you go. It is Jerry Maguire was today's Film Friday. Athletics, Giants. This game is happening. I don't know if people are rostering offenses here. Not so much. I don't think so. Maybe a little bit of Wilmer. He's kind of cheap. Maybe a little bit of Matt Chapman. Third base is kind of weak. Logan Webb taking on JP Sears. Sam Fran minus 200 favorites. Athletics with a less than 3 team total. A massive downgrade as far as the ballpark when you consider Sacramento their home currently. Where do we have the Athletics and the Giants on the board?
Oh, man, I'm going to put Oakland in tier 4, even though they could definitely be in tier 5. I'm going to put them in tier 4 just because I do like the lineup. Sometimes they do come off. So, but I'll put them in tier 4. Not much interest there. San Francisco, I'll put in tier 3 just in case. JP Sears isn't great. He's not bad, but he's not great. A lot of fly balls he'll give up. Maybe that can – it's not a big home run park, but you never know. So – I'll put San Francisco dead in the middle. Not much interest in them. Not much interest against them. It's pretty neutral on this game in general, though.
All right. Our board is complete. Chop, get the knockers ready. Get the BBP suggestion of the day ready. I'm going to recap the board. If you were joining us just now, we power ranked. I say we. I guess I did. I power ranked today's topic. Today's topic was DFS tools. DFS tools. Got Plate IQ all the way up top. Hanging out in the one hole with the Plate IQ. It's Washington, Arizona, San Diego with Ross Weather Edge. We got Baltimore, Detroit, Tampa, Texas, and the Dodgers. Lineup HQ in the 3-hole. Battle of New York. That's the Yankees and the Mets. Boston, Kansas City, San Fran. Shop's BBP model is the 4-hole. Tampa Bay, Baltimore, Minnesota, the Mariners, the Athletics, and Milwaukee. And all the way at the bottom, we don't even know if this is true or if it even exists. It's like the Loch Ness Monster, Kirkwood's Dew Point model. The Marlins are always there. The Rockies are always there. They're joined today by Chop's Astros, St. Louis, and the Angels. All right, Chop, let's do it. Knockers and the BBP suggestion of the day. What do you got?
BVP suggestion of the day. Some candidates here, several guys that, the model spit out, but the model also takes into account a little bit of regression from both hitters and pitchers. So ultimately what we're staring at here is the best suggestion of the day is Francisco Lindor, believe it or not, against Rodon. And, I don't want to go too much against Rodon, but Lindor fits the bill here, man. Not bad. So we're going Francisco Lindor. All right. The knockers, Dean. I had 2 of them lined up. That was going to be my number 1 options. But then I see one of them winds up in the Spidey bombs. So I think I'm going to go a different route now. One of them was Riley Green and Kerry Carpenter. But I'm going to go a different route because I don't want to overlap the Spidey bombs. So Dean, I'm going to go out to Arizona. It's not it's a popular stack in general, but I'm going to maybe get a little bit less popular, hopefully. Josh Naylor and Lourdes Gurriel. Let's go Josh Naylor, Gurriel, 3-5, Arizona.
By the way, I checked Lindor, 35 at-bats, 10 hits, 5 singles, 3 doubles, 2 homers against Rodon. Your boy Jose Altuve was sitting right there. 7 homers for Altuve.
Yeah,
52 plate appearances.
I don't know if you were listening to some of the stuff I just said. I don't know if you were listening to it, but I did say that the model does take into account some semblance of regression from both hitters and pitchers, and Altuve is certainly not the same guy he was several years ago.
Fair. Neither are we, to be fair. But all right, I'll speak for myself. I'll speak for myself. Well, you just said 20 minutes ago you stopped reading content, to be fair, but
it doesn't make me any less of a man, Dean.
No, well, I wasn't saying that. I would never. All right, seamless transition. Crunch time's coming in. We got TJ, we got Tim, and Dave Potts. Cheese is good. Let's do it. Let's talk to crunch time. What is up, Tim? Dave? How are things? We doing all right? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, Dean. Yeah, it's gonna be. This is a pretty awesome slate. I mean, it's pretty tremendous. I'm looking forward to breaking it down with Mr. Dave Potts.
I just want to say it's a little rough to have the dew point model at the bottom and no one here to defend it. I would speak on Kirk's behalf. That's a top tier tool. I think it's hard to get access to. I think that maybe why you have it at the bottom. You probably haven't actually seen it. That's a top tier tool.
I put it in the 5-hole mostly because I'm bitter that I've been refused access. I still don't know if it's real, but I have heard word of mouth. I've seen some screenshots.
Oh, it's real and it's fantastic.
Well played, Dave. All right, Chop, myself, you, and we're gonna get out of here. We're gonna make way for crunch time. TJ's gonna take over. You got Tim, you got Dave, you got TJ. You have 50 minutes of MLB DFS conversation taking you all the way up to first pitch. Enjoy your weekend. Go Panthers. Chop, take it away. No, TJ. Chop, have a nice weekend.
We got a question in chat already. Did Roth quit, or was it because of that rap video leak of his? It was actually directly involved.
He got a new career.
He got a brand new career, and he is making it big in the music industry now. And so we hope. I mean, we can only hope that that dream comes crashing, burning down for him, and that he comes back to RotoGrinders sometime soon. But I believe, I'm not positive, I believe he's going to be back tomorrow. But in the meantime, my name is TJ Zwarych, joined by two of the sharpest minds in the biz for some MLB crunch time, joined by the great Dave Potts. Cheese is good. How you doing, Dave?
I'm good. This is a more fun slate to just look at than it is to play. It's very fun to look at. I will tell you, I have like the fewest lineups I've had all year on a full slate because I know that I don't know how to win this slate. I just know it's great to look at, and I'll tell you what I think about it. But I would love it if I was Tim's playing some cash games. You can definitely build it correctly there. I would love to be Tim for a lot of reasons. But for MME, it's nightmarish, and so I didn't even try it.
Tim, how about you joining us as well? TastefulTides, TIm Buell. We got a wild slate tonight, among the better hitting slates we've had in a while, among the better pitching slates we've had in a while, somehow matched into one. What are your thoughts and how you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing well, TJ. I was actually going to say the exact opposite of what Cheese just said. I'd much rather play MME on this slate than cash games because, I mean, we'll talk about it, but I'm landing on one particular pitcher for cash games that I really don't want to play. So I feel like it's kind of this is a very, very weird slate. It's
I can't wait to see. Like I was wondering, and I don't even want to say I think I know who it is, but I will just wait and see. And if you're playing him, then I agree. I would not play cash games at all.
Right. That's kind of the problem. And all my single entry teams, I've been trying to like do different stacks, and I keep landing on that same exact pitcher as my SP2, and I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. So I'm still building my primary single entry team right now.
We'll dive into some of those pitchers, but before we do, let's talk a little weather. I don't know anything about meteorology, but I can read Roth's weather reports, and hopefully we'll have some type of update here on Washington and Baltimore, because Washington and Baltimore has started in a delay. And now his original report was one line of storms clears around just before first pitch. Another cluster of showers builds late, maybe around 11 p.m. That should be enough of a window to play, with only risk of a brief late start and some very late inning issues depending on the length of the late start. Most likely outcome is a clean 9 regardless. So this potential delay was something he had already taken into account. So let's see if we get a tweet from him in the next little bit, which we usually do once a team starts in a delay. I got my Kevin Roth notifications for Twitter on, so we'll keep you updated. But like we talked about, this is a crazy, crazy slate for pitchers. And if I can guess correctly, the one guy that you're both alluding to as the one that is landing in the optimal style cash lineups, but you don't really want to play, probably Corbin Burnes. Even though it's a phenomenal matchup against Colorado, he has looked bad. This is not the same guy as it used to be, at least so far this season. I'm personally playing 150 lineups. I have 0% Corbin Burnes in those 150 lineups. Just hit the X button on him. Dave, what are you doing with Burnes today? Who do you like at pitcher?
Yeah, I've got 0%. If I did 150, I'd probably have 0. I might have a couple. I get that he's facing the Rockies. I wouldn't even consider him in cash personally. I get it. I don't think you're wrong if you do. I mean, kind of the optimal cash pairing might be two of the worst pitchers on the slate this year, Burnes and Bradley. I say worst on the slate, just like they're so far below who they're supposed to be that despite these matchups, it's weird to say they're the good plays. So I have 0 Corbin Burnes. I'm not going to tell you should play 0 Corbin Burnes. He's facing the Rockies. There's still talent in there somewhere. Like I will not be surprised if at any time he just wakes up and becomes Corbin Burnes again. But I just can't pay $9,100 for a guy who's under the surface numbers this year are flat out bad. They're not. It's not like they're even okay. They're bad. So I'm out. I have no idea what I think should happen with the ownership. Like if we were certain Essentially, I don't think anyone can really be that chalky because there's so many great pitchers, but I still think Burns will be among the most popular. And even if he's great, if he goes 7 scoreless innings with 9 strikeouts, which is totally possible, it's the Rockies, that's still probably not the best pitcher on this slate with how many superstars we have. So I'm playing Reagans as my SP1. And then some mixture of Chris Sale. If I have money, I'm great with Eovaldi or Crochet or Joe Ryan. I like Joe Ryan personally more than the rest of those. And I'm a little more okay with Taj Bradley just because of the salary. Like if I'm going to play a mediocre pitcher in a great matchup, give me the guy who's 7K instead of the guy who's 9K. It's really just that simple. On FanDuel, I would not really mess with Bradley either. Like 8,500 is nice, but it's not, you don't really need a cheap pitcher that much. But on DK, I do have some Taj Bradley. It's hard to even name all the pitchers. Like if you didn't read the musings today, I went through all of them. I'm not going to rehash everything I said there. They're all playable. I have 18 pitchers that I think are viable. I'm not going to play 18 pitchers. Even in 150, I don't know if I'd get to 18. But if I don't mention the pitcher you like, he's still great. Like, yeah, play Carlos Rodon or Jack Flaherty or Mackenzie Gore or Max Meyer or play all these guys. It's great. But that's part of why I don't like this slate. Even in 150 lineups, you just can't get them all. So I'm just going to take the guys that I think are the best actual pitchers for their salary, which is Reagans, Sale, and Joe Ryan. With Taj Bradley as my favorite cheap guy. If you want to go dumpster diving, like Owen Francis could work out, probably doesn't. Like Chad Patrick could work out, probably doesn't. So I don't have anything lower than Bradley on either side personally.
I managed to narrow it down to 10 pitchers for my 150 lineups, but I basically just decided that the most expensive guy, I am messing around with some of those cheaper ones, but my thought process is Reagans is the highest I'm going up, and I'm just sticking in that range a little bit below. I have Reagans and Sale each in over half of my lineups. Tim, how about you? Who are you prioritizing at pitcher today?
Yeah, so definitely Chris Sale is the guy that I would be trying to get to the most. He's definitely going to be my SP1 in cash games. He's going to be my SP1 on FanDuel. So Chris Sale is my favorite overall. SP2 on DraftKings becomes extremely complicated, I think, in any format. My favorite would be Cole Reagans as my SP2. He's 9,300. He has massive strikeout upside. It's not the best matchup in the world, but I think it's good enough where you can justify paying that salary. But realistically speaking, there are seven or eight pitchers on this slate that you could play in cash games, and I really would not think that you're horrible. So any of Joe Ryan, Logan Webb, Corbin Burns because of the amazing matchup, Nathan Eovaldi just because Houston doesn't really have any lefties to hurt him, so I think you could play Eovaldi. I really love Joe Ryan tonight. He's somebody that I've been touting pretty aggressively this season, and I think he's somebody that we can continue to play really in any format. So 9,500 for him. I mean, ownership's going to get really spread around amongst these like top 7 or 8 pitchers here. So I'm not going to be too worried about ownership. I think Sale will probably be the highest owned, but even then, I don't think it would be too difficult to get overweight him. But right now, for cash on DraftKings, it's Sale and Reagans for me. But if people want to play Burns, that's completely fine just because that matchup is so amazing. I know the optimals are really want you to play Burns and Sale. So if you go that way, I say go for it. I will, don't let me talk you away from that. I'm personally just going to go Sale and Reagans for my team.
Yeah, sounds like across the board, Sale Reagans is the kind of top pairing for all of us. We got some early questions in chat like, am I crazy to play Mackenzie Gore and Taj Bradley? No, not in a large field GPP. No, not at all. Both of those guys totally fine for large field GPPs today. Questions about Kolek, questions about who's the other one I saw?
Well, we got two questions actually
JP
about
Sears was the other one. Kolek and Sears.
And Patrick. I can't. I mean, I know that the matchup is okay for Patrick, and I know that there's no Buxton or Correa in the lineup, but I'm not going to adjust the opportunity at cost at pitcher today is so high. I can't personally justify that. I mean, I guess if you wanted to, throw a couple shots in here, if you're making it a lot of teams, I guess. But really, if I were building 20 teams tonight, I would not be playing Chad Patrick.
What are your thoughts?
I can justify JP Sears in that Taj Bradley range. I don't think Kolek is playable at all, personally.
I think I'm going to end up with about 8% of all three of those guys in 150 lineups. Just some sprinkles. Not a lot, but just some sprinkles. Smash the like button if we get up to 150 likes. I got the third Spidey Bomb coming for the people. We already got two at the bottom. Riley Green and Max Muncy, both going to knock one out of the park tonight. I wanted to pick Kerry Carpenter, but just everybody seems like they're picking Kerry Carpenter because he was like plus 250 on the betting sites tonight. Let's talk about some stacks. We'll go to you first here, Tim. We have two teams with their team totals way above everybody else. And that's the Dodgers and the Diamondbacks. Two teams above 6. Nobody else above 5. How are you going to handle these two stacks tonight? Are you worried they're going to be too chalky? Doesn't look like it right now in SimLabs. And then who else are you looking to get to?
So I think it's really contest dependent about what I think about ownership in terms of the Dodgers. Kind of in the mid-range, higher dollar single entry stuff, I am a little bit worried about Dodger ownership. Now, if we're playing kind of the smaller, larger field stuff, I don't know if their ownership is going to get through the roof because there are so many other teams to play. But yeah, it's clearly the Dodgers that are top stack overall. I don't think it's particularly close, and I think they're incredibly easy to play, at least that stack, because there's a few guys on that team that are way too cheap. So it's incredibly easy to get, between 3 and 5 of those guys and still pay up for pitching. So the Dodgers are just in a different category all on their own, in my opinion, pretty much each and every slate. It's really always the Dodgers. The next, probably best quote unquote stack are the Diamondbacks going up against Carson Palmquist. They should be a little bit lower owned than the Dodgers, but I still think they're going to be fairly chalky. Did we get that Diamondbacks lineup yet?
There's no Jordan Lawler, so I got to redo every lineup I've ever made. But
yeah, it's Perdomo over Lawler, but other than that,
which is good. Perdomo's better than Lawler. Like, they actually should do that. It's just disappointing for salary.
I mean, you're already not playing Corbin Burns. You can put in 2.4K Ezekiel Tovar, who is back in the lineup and batting second.
Done.
A genuine, kind of good batter for Colorado.
I legitimately love that.
All right.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, I mean,
tonight, I want a crisp virtual high five.
Yeah. There you go. Some books have the Diamondbacks with a higher implied team total than the Dodgers. So I mean, they're obviously
my book does. Tim, I wrote it down and everything.
What, the Arizona has a higher team total?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely a tremendous matchup for them. If I have to pick between the two, I'm still going Dodgers just because I want Ohtani and I want Mookie, and Max Muncy has finally figured out how to hit a ball. So I'm leaning towards the Dodgers, but if people want to go Arizona, that's completely fine. I would be jamming in as many Dodgers as I can for cash games, just so people know that. If you have like a 1v1, like I saw Witt versus Betts in cash, I would personally go Betts, even though Witt is fantastic. And then some other stacks that are not those two that I think will end up being really low, much lower owned, are going to be Washington and the Tigers. Those two are my favorite non-Dodger Arizona stacks. I think I
love it when we're on the same page. That always is a good night when we agree.
Yeah, and then I did just kind of besmirch Bobby Witt a little bit, but I think the Royals are an okay stack, at least value-wise. I think they have some decent plays for cheap. And I also really like the Rangers. We haven't really seen good Lance McCullers yet. So I think the Rangers are definitely somebody that I would have some interest in GPPs.
My top 4 stacks, Tim, are Dodgers, then Tigers, then Arizona, and then Washington. And number 5 is Texas. Love being on this page. Cheese, how about you? Who are you stacking tonight?
Exact same. I have nothing to add. I mean, that's the slate. To me, Arizona's first and the Dodgers are second. And then I've got Texas third, Tigers fourth, with the Nationals being my favorite. Cheaper. I like the bottom of the order there where they're kind of cheaper. Royals and Twins are also on my list. And then the occasional spend up to be different with the Padres.
All right, we will start going position by position. However, before we do, the MLB DFS annual option is $425, and we dropped the price of our Combo Pro product to mirror the MLB annual package. Might as well get more stuff for the same price, right? Combo Pro 6-month also gives you access to all our content, tools, and projections for every sport except for NASCAR at a cheaper price than the monthly package. You'd actually save about 35% by choosing 6-month over monthly. Sign up now for MLB projections, NBA content, PGA data, and more. Plus, be sure to try out our Props and Pick'em package for a discount. The Props and Pick'em package features daily prop picks and fantasy pick'em selections from many of your favorite RotoGrinders experts. We're also knocking 50% off the price of your first month when you sign up at the link down below, right down there in the description. We'll go position by position, starting with some catcher. Cheese, who do you like at catcher?
So pretty much every position, I'm going to name a Dodger and a Diamondback. Like Will Smith is the spend up, and Moreno is the spend down. Salvador Perez, it seems too cheap. It is worth mentioning at some point, whether on the pitching side or the hitting side, that is very friendly hitters win in Kansas City. Like theoretically, the Royals just hit ground balls and the Cardinals just strike out. But if people do get the ball in the air, it is a very nice home run kind of night. So I like Sal. I like Jeffers. That's it.
All right, Tim, how about you? Who do you like in tournaments tonight, and who would be your cash game catcher?
Yeah, Will Smith is the cash game catcher tonight. Definitely, I think that's a pretty easy call. 4,600. It's pretty easy to play him. If you want to get different in single entry, I completely get it. Adley Rutschman at 4,300. Sal Perez at 34. I love Ryan Jeffers batting second. Like if you really don't have the money for Will Smith, I think you could play Ryan Jeffers conceivably in cash games. And then obviously Gabriel Moreno for cheap. He's another guy that you could play pretty much in any format. But really, I think that's all I would consider. And I guess Cal Raleigh, just because he has massive home run upside and he's not going to be owned. So I guess Cal Raleigh for larger field stuff.
Somebody I did bet on to hit a home run tonight just because he was all the way up at 450. That was a turd bomb that I scooped up there. Tim, take us to first base.
Yeah, so first, I mean, I think that you want to play Shohei in the outfield, but if you can't, I mean, obviously first base is fantastic. 6,500, awesome spot. Like we see each and every day how amazing he is. So he's the guy. Vlad on FanDuel is really, really cheap. So I think he's interesting over there. Obviously Freddie Freeman, if you want to just include all the Dodgers and all your Dodger stacks, like Freddie's absolutely awesome. If you want somebody who's on the cheaper end, Ryan Mountcastle at 3,500, I like a lot. I don't mind Josh Naylor. And, I don't mind Nathaniel Lowe either. I think he's a decent play. And then of course you got one-offs like, you could go Pete Alonso. I think you could one-off Spencer Torkelson as well.
People asking about the weather. No weather to worry about for the main slate. Baltimore and Washington is starting in a delay, but it's only going to be delayed about 10 minutes. And they've already announced a new start time. And Ross said there is nothing to worry about. So we're all good there. Roth has this kind of magic power, it seems, to anytime he's away, there's no bad weather to worry about. Now, maybe that's not a magic power. Maybe that's, he's an actual professional meteorologist, and so he plans that out before he takes a couple days off. I don't know. But either way, I appreciate not having to worry about it. Cheese, who do you like in at first base today?
I do like some spin ups, but it's also a pretty good day to go cheap on DraftKings. So you got the Texas guys, you got Jock and Berger are cheap. You got Rowdy Tellez is very cheap. Vinny Pasquantino is very cheap. So I really don't mind punting it, even though, Freeman is fantastic. Like Tim said, probably Ohtani in the outfield. He's fantastic at first. I like Alonso a pretty good bit as a spend up to be a little different. But outside of those guys, I really do like going cheap there.
All right, take us to second base.
So Marte and then Betts also on FanDuel are kind of tier of their own, Diamondbacks and Dodgers. Betts is especially useful on FanDuel, but Marte's a little more affordable there too. So that's them ahead of everybody else. And then Brandon Lau is fine because he's cheap. I like, me and my Brooks Lee problem. It's not a problem. He's good now.
I love Brooks Lee so much. He's second and third base eligible, insanely cheap, switch hitter with power. It's just,
and he's good. Yeah, he's not a nobody. He's great. I also like Colt Keith down there a good bit. Which side is Colt Keith not second base eligible? I'm getting them mixed up.
DraftKings. He's only first base on DraftKings, which is really
FanDuel. I like Colt Keith. I also kind of like a little Jake Cronenworth, and then of course Hyseon Kim. If you need a punt,
Tim, who do you like at second?
Yeah, so definitely, it's Mookie, it's Marte on at least on FanDuel, and then Brandon Lau is definitely the points per dollar option. He's very, very cheap on both sites. He has tremendous upside. He's 3,500 on DK, only 2,700 on FanDuel. So I really do like him. I don't mind Brooks Lee at all, especially on FanDuel. He's eligible at 3 different positions. He's 2,600 batting third. Absolutely. I don't mind that at all. He's only 3,200 on DraftKings. I mean, that's fantastic. I don't mind Marcus Semien, as bad as that sounds, but I don't mind that Rangers stack. And then I think it's Josh Smith. He's try eligible also on FanDuel at 2,900 batting leadoff. So I really don't mind him either.
I love how smoothly you say things like try eligible, and he is. It's just glorious.
I know that taking Buxton and Correa out of the lineup obviously makes them a lot worse, but I actually think with their super cheap salaries and a little bit of lefty power that Minnesota is actually a pretty interesting, sneaky stack tonight. Tim, third base, who do you like? We got Max Muncy up top, who's a Spidey bomb, and now that he's finally hitting better, way too underpriced.
Yeah, I mean, he's way too cheap. I mean, other than Ohtani, he might be the highest owned batter on the entire slate, and that does make me a little bit nervous to play.
Who doesn't love Max Muncy, Chalk?
Like super chalk. This is going to be out of hand in single entry. I currently have him clicked for my single entry team, but he's definitely a guy that I'm considering removing just because I'm worried he's going to be super steamed. But if you're playing cash games, it's absolutely Max Muncy on both sites. It's very, very simple. I noticed that Dave Potts has Matt Chapman tagged on FanDuel. I think that's a fantastic play at 2,900. He's the exact same price as Muncy. He's not going to be nearly as high owned as Muncy. So especially in single entry stuff. So I think that's a fantastic pivot. If you want to spend up, I think that obviously Suarez, he's going to be somewhat popular, but I think he's a good play at 4,400. Dave at the beginning of the show kind of mentioned some of those Padres bats to get different. Somebody like Manny Machado is going to be virtually unowned on the slate. So I think he makes for a really strong one-off play.
Cheese, how about you? Who do you like at third?
Yeah, that's pretty much the pool. I mean, you can throw Josh Young in there. I do think Chapman over Muncy on FanDuel is pretty interesting for ownership. I mean, it probably may not be that super different on FanDuel, but I do like Chapman. Give me the guy who's a little bit better in reality, even though not quite as good a matchup. Suarez I like a lot. Also very much on the Machado call there. It's harder not to play Muncy on DraftKings with that salary. But you can play Brooks Lee.
All right, take us for shortstop.
So some of the shortstops have kind of tough matchups that will leave them unowned. Gunnar Henderson and Francisco Lindor, Zach Neto, not going to get played at all. Even CJ Abrams, I don't think gets played much because it's lefty-lefty. So I like all those guys. Abrams is my favorite out of them, but certainly Witt and Mookie are the plays. I think the ownership kind of leans more towards Mookie. We're showing a little more to Witt. I still think people probably end up playing more Mookie because of the Dodgers thing, but either of them are great plays. I would just say I think I'd play Witt on his own in a tournament. Just he's the one Royal who can hit the ball in the air against Palante. So yeah, give me Witt if spending up. It's actually, I think, because those expensive guys are either so expensive or not in great matchups, I think it's a little more viable to spend down than on some slates, which would be like Willie Adames or Bo Bichette. Sadly, again, no Jordan Lawler. Trey Sweeney is on my board at some point. I think that's about it. Well, Willie Castro. Plenty of they're okay. I would obviously rather play Bobby Witt or Mookie Betts, but I'm a little more willing to punt than some days.
Tim, how about you?
Yeah, I'm going Mookie over Witt, but I mean, if people want to play Witt in cash games or any other format for that matter, that's completely fine. I'm just focusing on Dodgers for cash games. If you don't want Witt or Mookie, CJ Abrams is probably my third favorite overall shortstop tonight. I do like that national stack. I think Abrams is a little bit too cheap on both sites. He is showing a little bit more ownership than I thought he would, but still, I think he's a fantastic GPP play. And then really Tovar on DK at 2,400. Like I know those guys were talking about earlier. I mean, that really is not a bad play at all if you need value at shortstop. Personally, though, I'd be spending up at this position. But if you need the savings, he really is not a bad play at all.
He's more than not a bad play.
Right, I know.
I'm looking at it like I didn't know he was going to be back in today. I'm going to have so much Tovar.
I mean, he's ranked like the 7th best draw point shortstop.
Yeah, and like Corbin Burns against righties is barely better than me against righties. I know people think he's great, but like that's not what the numbers say.
Yeah, I'm as of right now, I might give myself another run here, but as of right now, he's my 4th highest owned behind Witt, Betts, Abrams, then Tovar. It's kind of how it goes for me on this slate. Tim, take us to the outfield.
Yeah, so the outfield is fantastic. Probably be starting off right with Shohei Ohtani. Lock him into your cash games, lock him into any format, get overweight him in GPPs. Next on the list is pretty much always going to be Aaron Judge. Like we haven't really talked about the Yankees. You can always stack the Yankees, but more importantly, you can always one-off Aaron Judge, especially when he's not going to be super chalky. So, Judge is a fantastic pivot off of Ohtani. If you're looking for somebody a little bit cheaper, again, probably a cash game candidate is Kerry Carpenter at 4,200. We've seen Francis struggle against lefties this year. I think it's a really, really solid price. I know that TJ and Chop are both on Riley Green. I think that's fine. I really like Texas today. Maybe I like them a little bit too much, but I think Wyatt Langford at 5K is a really good GPP play. Again, Gurriel for the Diamondbacks at 3,500. He's definitely a cash game candidate as well. Like, that amazing matchup against Palmquist. So he's too cheap, definitely. And then guys like James Outman, dirt cheap. Michael Conforto, dirt cheap. And don't forget about Andy Pajes at 4K. He might be the one that kind of like gets left off of some Dodger stacks tonight.
He's been so red hot too. He has been really, really good lately. Cheese, how about you? Who do you like in the outfield?
Yeah, most of what Tim said. I just want to kind of what something he said. I want to reiterate and fix when he said he might be too high on the Rangers. I don't think you can be too high on the Rangers. Like go for it. Like McCullers may just not be okay at all. Like we don't know. It's only a couple starts, but like it's conceivable that he's just not supposed to be pitching ever again. So yeah, I like Langford a lot as well. Definitely in the mid tier, Green and Carpenter are going to get played, but I think they're fantastic plays, and you don't have to be stacking to play those guys. Trevor Larnach is kind of in that same range for me, as I am stacking some Twins, but playing him on his own with Brooks Lee. But Helio Ramos is another, like, you can play one or two Giants here or there. I don't like the stack, but they probably should hit a home run or two off of Sears. Grichuk and Gurriel. I prefer them to Conforto and Outman. Like either of those top stacks, you've got these cheap outfielders that make the stack work. And I don't think you even have to be stacking. But if I'm playing them on their own, I like those Diamondbacks guys a little better. We mentioned Nationals, Call, and Cruz they're not cheap, but they're affordable and fine. I think that's all I need to mention.
All right, it is time for Cheese's favorite part of the show, some home run calls. Cheese, we'll keep it with you for this one, then we'll go to Tides for some. How did I just forget what your bombs are called?
Taters.
Taters.
How could you forget taters? Come on now.
It just disappeared in my mind. Today's been a long day. I learned how to use Premiere Pro for the first time, making the Beers MLB 6-pack. And so today's 6-pack was my very first time editing that. And I believe it takes Steve about 20 minutes to do that. And it took me about 3.5 hours today. So really looking forward to be able to shave off some editing time off of that one.
Also, that's how I feel and do it like a home improvement project. Like I need to fix like a light switch, and I'm like, I can do this in 4 hours, or I can hire a guy to do it in 8 minutes. I'm not sure which is better. Okay, home runs. I'll give you. I'm not even going to go expensive. I'll go chalky, Kerry Carpenter, and then cheaper. I'll give you a couple of cheap home runs. Non-ironically, Brooks Lee. This is the right spot for Brooks Lee. And Randall Grichuk.
Tim, how about you? Give us some taters.
I'm going to go Brandon Lau plus 600 and Wyatt Langford plus 400.
All right, I like it. Let's start pivoting to take some questions here as I fiddle with my build just a little bit more, adjust a few things, try and get a little more of one player, a little less of another. I want a couple Rocky stacks in there, and the lineup HQ wasn't giving it to me naturally, so I gotta bump them up a little bit. Start taking some questions. Going to the RotoGrinders live stream Discord first, then going to the YouTube chat second. Smash the like button if you're watching on YouTube. I got 2 Spidey bombs scrolling already, Riley Green and Max Muncy. We got one more if we get 17 more likes, up to 150. So keep smashing that like button. DK single entry. I'm trying to keep 5K Gleyber Torres out of my Tiger stack. Would you prefer Dingler or Sweeney to complete a Tiger stack? Cheese?
I prefer Sweeney. Like Francis's splits are so big, like just side with the lefty if in doubt for Tigers.
Tim, DK Cash, we need a first baseman, 4,600 or less.
DK Cash, 4,600 or less. I'd go Josh Smith.
Speaking of beer 6-pack, that is one of the guys in said 6-pack today. Going to the next question here. Vlad or Will Smith for FanDuel Cash Cheese?
Will Smith.
All right. I'll do it for Discord for now. Lots of people more typing, so we'll go back there afterwards. FanDuel Cash, Tim, Vlad, Naylor, or Vinny P? Although I guess if Smith is an option, maybe throw him in there too.
Yeah, I still think it's Vlad.
Beaner missed the Taters, Tim, so he wants a recap of the Taters, and also who is your favorite FanDuel GPP pitcher tonight?
Yeah, so Brandon Lau was plus 600 on DraftKings, and Wyatt Langford was plus 400 on DraftKings.
And who would be your favorite FanDuel GPP tournament?
Tournament what? Pitcher? Yeah. I mean,
which one do you like prize pools and MVPs for? Sorry, that was bad.
There's so many good pitchers tonight. Sale is still my favorite straight up. If you don't want to play into that, because he probably will be the highest owned, I would just go up $200 to go to Cole Reagans.
Devin Davis wondering what's the hype with Brooks Lee today. Not just today. We love Brooks Lee every day. He's just too cheap. He's switch hitter. You don't have to worry about pinch hit risk. Multi-positional eligibility is a big one, and he feels tough to fill positions. So kind of a combo of all those things. He's got some power. He's cheap. He's at second or third base. Switch hitter. It's just a nice little roster filler. Eovaldi and Grichuk or Sale and Gurriel. I'm not even throwing that to either of you because that's Sale and Gurriel right there. Let's see here. Geez, somebody's running a Arizona and San Diego stack. Would you want to fill it out with Carroll or Merrill? Which of the rhyming outfielders would you rather play?
I think you want Merrill. Like just on their own, 1v1, it would be Corbin Carroll. But like you don't want you're trying to get an edge with the San Diego stack, and you really don't want to leave Merrill out of the San Diego stack. So I would go that way.
If you were going to stack the Diamondbacks, Tim, as a mini stack, who would be the 2 to 3 guys you want the most? I've never seen your kitty say hello before. This is so nice.
I know. I've been doing shows for like 5 years now, and this is the first time he's ever joined us.
He heard the Brooks Lee talk. He's like, I gotta get in on this.
Right. Yeah, exactly. 3 Diamondbacks, was that the question?
Yeah, 2 to 3. Who would be your I don't know how big of a mini stack they're doing, but maybe rank your top 3 Diamondbacks you'd want to include today.
Gurriel, Suarez, definitely. And then if you have salary, Corbin Carroll. If you need a cheap catcher, Gabriel Moreno.
All right. I love it. Let's input my lineups here. There we go. Bang, bang. Probably did about 15 different builds today before I landed on one that I really, really liked. And now we have it. We have the money maker tonight that's going to win it all. Going up for some questions, and I think we have hit all the top ones from the YouTube chat. DKGPP, single entry. It just says sale and free.
All right. Assuming Chris Sale and Freddie Freeman. I mean, it's going to be a little bit popular, but I'm fine with that.
Oh, there, he accidentally hit enter too early. Chris Sale and Freddie Freeman, or Mackenzie Gore or Shohei Ohtani, Tim?
Well, my answer is kind of the same, but boy, I don't think you should be fading Ohtani. That makes it a little bit nervous. I personally think Gore is a little bit unnecessary. Like I get that he has a high strikeout rate, but this slate is so loaded with amazing pitchers. I'm just not on Gore. So that's kind of a tough one. I guess if I have to choose between that 2v2, it's Sale and Freeman.
Let me see something here. I didn't realize. Yeah, that's a nice cheap price tag somebody's bringing up in chat. You got Ramon Laureano batting cleanup today at only $2,900 for Baltimore. Is Gore safe with the weather? Yes, we're not worried about the weather in that one. They're just late starting, like 15 minutes. The storm has already passed. FanDuel single entry. Would you play Taj Bradley with Arizona and the Dodgers, or would you want to have a less chalky pitcher if you're playing Arizona and the Dodgers, Cheese?
I mean, that has min cash written all over it. There's nothing wrong with that. I have lineups like that because I feel like I'm going to min cash on my lineups tonight and not win anything. If that's your goal, I like it. If you're trying to win the thing, do something different.
FanDuel single entry price considered. Who would be the fourth man you play in a Tiger stack, assuming the first three are Green, Carpenter, and Colt Keith? Who would be your fourth favorite Tiger, Tim?
Probably Spencer Torkelson.
FanDuel single entry. Oh, this is a tough one, Cheese. Brooks Lee, Brandon Lau. Your home run pick against Tim's home run pick.
Yeah. So, I mean, honestly, it's Brooks Lee for me. Like, Brandon Lau is a high strikeout batter facing a high strikeout pitcher. Brooks Lee is a low strikeout batter facing a low strikeout pitcher, and they both have power. I mean, Lau has more power, but I prefer Lee. TJ,
can I just ask a question that's in chat? And I would like to have Cheese answer it if it hasn't already been answered. DK single entry, are you okay with May in single entry if it lets me 5-man the Dodgers with Freeman Ohtani in that lineup, but also lets me get Witt in my Royals mini?
So yeah, Dustin May is one of those guys I'm super torn on today. Like, there's a bunch of pitchers like May and Sears in particular in that price range that on a lot of slates we'd be talking about kind of a lot. I would say he's okay. I didn't get to him. But I think it's okay. Like, if he's ever going to get some extra strikeouts, this would be the night. Yes, like, I wouldn't tell you not to do that. I would tell you I'm not doing it, but I don't think it's silly or anything.
Yeah, that's what I would say too. Like, when I ran Sims before the show, I got Dustin May the 5th most out of any pitcher. So I'm really torn on May. Personally, my kind of cheap SB2 is Taj Bradley. But if people want to play May, I don't think it's horrible.
All right. Kolek or May? Who do you like better of those two, Tim?
For me, that would be pretty easy and just go with May.
FanDuel Cash Util, Riley Green or Austin Riley, Cheese?
Riley Green.
We need yet another Spidey Bomb. Are we at 150 likes? Have we done it yet? Let's see. Give them a quick refresh. We are at 143, so still 7 likes away for the last Spidey Bomb. We got 6 minutes left until lock. I think you guys can do it. I think we can do 7 likes in 6 minutes. Come on, that's easy. Having said that, I think we have run out of questions. We have answered all of them in the RotoGrinders live stream Discord chat. We have, there's one left here in the RotoGrinders live stream Discord chat. Can I get an answer from both of these two sharp guys on this? For FanDuel single entry, is it too risky to fade a full stack of Arizona and the Dodgers for a team like the Tigers?
I don't think that's too risky.
Of course not. There's no such thing as too risky to fade heavy chalk in baseball, no matter how good the chalk looks.
I mean, it's baseball, guys. You know, it's like anything can.
Yeah, and the Tigers are like are in all 3 of our top 5. It's not like you're playing some crazy weird team either. Like, you're playing another good stack, so not even remotely crazy.
I'm just running 150 lineups today. I'm not playing single entry, but if I was, I think I would do the chalky, if you can call them that. Not that anybody's all that chalky pitchers of Chris Sale and Cole Reagans, and then I would probably do it with Washington and Detroit. I think I'd do a Washington 5-man and make sure I get Kerry Carpenter and Riley Green on my Detroit team, and that's kind of how I would want to be running it today in a single entry. Does lightning strike twice with Povich? Can you full on punt with Povich today, Cheese?
I mean, you can't. So I mentioned both Povich and Francis in the musings, and like, it probably goes badly for both. But I would say, sure. Like, anyone who's that cheap, and while we're all talking about the Nationals are a reasonable stack, they're also really not good against lefties in reality. So sure, I mean, there's a lot of opportunity cost, and I don't think you really need the salary that much. So I don't have any. But yes, I mean, any lefty could have a good game against the Nationals. It's not like the craziest possible outcome.
Tim, if you don't mind, 3 minutes left to lock. Give us just a quick little recap of who your top pitchers are and top stacks are.
Yeah, so I'm going with Sale and Reagans in cash on DraftKings. I'm doing the same combo in single entry. Sale is definitely your cash game guy on FanDuel. Really, any of Crochet, Eovaldi, Webb, Ryan, Burns are all fine and fantastic. Taj Bradley would be my lone punt at 7K. And then it's obviously going to be the Dodgers and Diamondbacks as your chalky stacks that are in amazing matchups. I like the Tigers, Texas, and Washington as my favorite non-Dodger, non-Diamondback stack.
I apologize, Cheese. I'm usually a very considerate person, but I forgot the trauma you have undergone with lightning and thunder. So great call, John in chat. I should not have brought up a lightning question to you. Won't happen.
Does lightning strike twice? It's sure struck once. I know that.
Bichette or Adames as your cheap shortstop today?
What was it, TJ?
Bichette or Adames?
Bichette.
I like him better too. Couple of movie questions tonight. What should we watch tonight? My first choice was, it just got added to Paramount Plus in the States, Prime Video in Canada, Novocaine, the new Jack Quaid, Amber Midthunder movie. He does not feel pain, and he's got to rescue his girlfriend as he goes through a bunch of terrible things. It's apparently quite fun and hilarious. So that's the one I'm checking out. It's one Chop was watching as well. But we also had another movie question in the chat from Gregorius the Wise, who has already seen Novocaine. He already saw the next one I recommended, which was Companion. And so we went to Conclave. So the movie recs for tonight are Novocaine, Conclave, and Companion. Bradley and May with D-backs and Tigers studs different enough tonight. Cheese, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that many people will have two pitchers under 8K. So yeah, that's fine.
Another question in chat from Cleveland Picker. I don't think the type of movie for me, but I have heard the new Final Destination movie in theaters is absolutely incredible for a Final Destination.
I can't believe people watch those movies. I know,
not for me.
Millions of people do, but that's just wild. No.
Not for me, but weirdly enough, it's being rated really well by critics, and those are typically movies that get absolutely shredded by critics. So I'm kind of mildly intrigued of like, what did they do that's making regular people, not like non-horror fans, so interested in this movie? I do have a little bit of curiosity, but I'm probably never going to watch it because, yeah, those movies aren't for me. J3 says we want TastefulTides Tim to do an episode of MTV Cribs. The adorable cat Roscoe on your chest it's piqued people's curiosity. They want to know Tim. They want to know what's going on in the rest of the house, but maybe we'll save that for another day if we get more likes. We did get over 150, though, so we did get the third Spidey Bomb. We got Riley Green, we got Max Muncy, and the third and final one, Jock Peterson at plus 600. Yes, I know he has been horrific, but it's still Jock Peterson at plus 600 in a really good matchup. Let's cross our fingers. Let's close our eyes and hope for the best. We have reached a lock, and that'll do it. Thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. Tim and I will be back tomorrow for MLB Crunch Time, but you won't see Tim because Tim's going to be behind the scenes doing some producing. And then, of course, Cheese will be back next week. So thank you so much to everyone who joined us today. Hit the like button on your way out. Good luck in all of your contests. On behalf of myself, Tim, and Dave, Dean and Chop on the show before that, we will see you next time, everybody. Peace.